I'm going to then tell you, I'm going to list, don't look at the suggestions. I mean, if you did already, that's not a big deal. And it doesn't really fucking matter because I don't look at them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say we have X amount of suggestions. And then you'll pick a number. And then I'll tell you what suggestion that corresponds to. And then we go. So it's like there's no and we're going live right now. There's no like turning the camera on and off. There's no like it's just like, all right, you picked a number, here's a suggestion, and then we go about 10 minutes, and then afterwards we just have a little talk, and I like to know like people's journeys, how they got in improv and what they're up to now. So that's it.
Okay, awesome.
A lot of these have been like real time mono scenes, one location, but that's not saying what it has to be. I really want to dig into your style and however you want to play it. So if you want to play a mono scene where we're one location the whole time, that's cool with me. If you whatever you want to do, I just want to have as much fun as I can.
Cool. Same here. All right.
Um, we got 27.
Wow.
So pick a number between 1 and 27.
13, baby.
Oh, yeah. Lucky number 13. Here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Oh, this comes from Breeze, our good friend Breeze. Breeze Geier, our buddy. The suggestion is, I hope I'm saying this right. Prescience? Prescience.
Prescience.
Sure, that's what it is, buddy.
Chapter 4, was it?
Yeah, chapter 4. It's page 98 in my text, but I don't know what if you have the updated version or not.
This is an original copy.
Oh, I've got a third edition, so yours might be back more, but yeah, it's chapter 4.
It's a spell.
Yeah.
It's okay. Um, I've got some of these things in my kitchen.
All right,
And
let's do it.
the horsehair, I don't, there's a couple ranches down the street from my house, but
Oh, I got horsehair. I've got some of it too. Why don't we go down the list
okay.
and we'll just mark off who's got what?
All right.
And I know, hey, and thanks. I know I'm throwing this at you last minute, but it is to save humanity. So let's just go. Okay.
I've got the garlic olive oil. I actually have the garlic infused in olive oil.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, because you're a shit. You did those cooking classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Uh,
like to talk about it. It didn't end well.
then we got to talk about it right now, Don.
Well, listen, the director started making passes at me during the cooking shows.
Inappropriate.
And yeah, totally inappropriate. So my wife was catching on to it. The
Sure.
director was cornering me,
Sure.
turned it into a massive feud,
Naturally.
illegitimate children. And, can we just go back?
I'm so sorry.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. Hey, humanity can wait. If you gotta let it out, let it out.
It was a tough time.
Yeah.
Um, and, I lost both. I have some visitation rights with the children, my original marriage
No.
children, and then my illegitimate children. I get to see both. I pay alimony to both.
Oh
But I'm
no.
not in contact with either of the mothers. Whew!
I mean, don't you wish sometimes we could cast a spell for our personal lives? Wouldn't that be great?
Just It's all start. Now it makes sense. In chapter 4, page 98. I didn't know where you were going with this, but let me tell you what, it's making a lot of sense to me now.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, like you got the guy confused. I got the horse here. Okay, I have newt. I got okay. I've got I have newt. If you want it, it's still fresh. Okay, I got
I've
yeah.
got a rabbit's foot. I mean, it's an old thing with the keychain. I don't
That
know why
works.
that wouldn't work.
No, that works. That works. It
Okay.
it, it would have asked for a fresh rabbit's foot for this fowl.
Taxidermy. Yeah, it doesn't say.
Right. All right. The three cries of small children. I've got those in a jar. I keep those on my shelf there. It's labeled, so when my kids see it, I'm like, do not open it. And we've had many conversations about it. I said anything on the shelf is daddy's. Okay, so don't open any of that. All right. Okay, for three. Okay, blown wishes. Okay, got that. All right, good.
To 424 Fahrenheit. That's easy.
And very specific number. Okay, that's good. Now there is. I know. Give me a second because I know there's a spell that you can cast to get visitation rights for your kids to get more visitation rights. I just don't know if it's under. I don't know if it's under visitation rights or children. I don't know which one it's under. So I'm gonna check visitation rights first, and then we can. Okay.
Your family law background with your
Yeah.
your psychotherapy and perhaps Warlock.
Not
You
perhaps.
were so diversified in your studies, Stu.
Thank you. I mean, I am certified as a warlock, so it's. I know before it wasn't. You weren't like I would. Again, I want to apologize. I would say I'm a warlock, and I wasn't certified to be a warlock, but I have gone through the certification program, and so now I am a full-fledged warlock. So, I am a warlock.
I always wondered about the W tattoo on the back of your neck. I
Yeah,
just figured it could have meant anything. Your middle name Warren, but it
yeah.
with the star around it, it makes sense that it could be a warlock.
I mean, that's once you get in, and I shouldn't be spilling the beans here, but I mean, you're pretty much a warlock as well. Don't let the like. It took me 4 times to pass the test. It's very hard. So you're pretty much. It's just a piece of paper. It doesn't really mean that your ability is better or worse.
What chapter does Warlock start in?
Yeah, it's
Series
so.
three?
So I've got like for visitation rights is chapter 12, and that's page 140 on my book.
I
I'm looking for.
ditto here. They must not update it or at least change the page number. I've got the original series here.
That's great.
Yeah.
Um, Here it is. Okay, page 141. Okay, here we go, buddy. Here we go. This is more important than humanity. Humanity. I mean, it's going to be a long struggle tonight. We got plenty of time. Getting you to see your kids far more important than humanity. Okay.
All right.
All right, so let's just call out. We'll call out the ingredients. If you have it, let me know. If I have it, then I'll let you know. But there's only this is more of a spell. It seems like we just need it needs to be in a open field during a full moon, and thank God there's a full moon tonight. So it's just
I've got the frankincense covered. Got that.
okay, great. So why don't you go ahead and light the frankincense?
Okay.
And it's the so go ahead and it says to chant it. I mean, you can read. I don't have to read to you what it says unless you need me to read it to you because you're focused on the frankincense.
Just putting on my safety goggles here. This is
I mean,
I got a burner here.
safety
When
first.
you're doing something like a spell or a large cauldron of
Yeah.
things, you need safety protection. Trust me.
Next thing you know, your eye's going to be in there as well as the newt's eyes. So like it's always safety first.
All right, we're humming.
All right. Do you want me to read you the spell, or do you want to just read it yourself? Like I'm down for whatever.
Well, why don't we take turns? I've got my book. I'll be stirring.
Okay.
And why don't we go line for line?
Okay. I love it. I love it. All right, Don. In the dark of night, when the moon is long,
You will hear a howl from beyond the tall oaks.
Asberoth, Min Zinthros, Asrion Menzinthros.
Come forth through thy needle trees, show thyself.
Where they are, thou shalt not know.
We will infuse your potion to and fro.
Children to mother, come back. Make it fast.
Take no more time, for it has been too long.
That's it?
All right.
That's it. Good work. Good pronunciation there.
It smells fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I'm hearing things.
Um. Hey,
Cut to being ghosts. Are you going first, or should I go? I haven't been called upon in hundreds of years.
I mean, I'm so excited that I also want to go, but maybe it's best off if we go together.
Like locking arms.
Let us lock arms and go back. Let us lock arms.
I'm so happy I can't get my scary face on. Just give me a moment.
Okay, you know what? Think of scary thoughts right now. We're thinking of exciting thoughts. So think of the scariest thought you can, Ebenezer. The scariest thought.
You gave me that Charlie horse last week.
No!
That really hurt.
Do you remember who won the race? It was the Charlie horse. Ha!
Oh, okay. I'm getting madder as we go.
Oh, your face is terrifying, Ebenezer.
Listen, I've worn a more pastel color. I hope it's scary enough.
Oh, I'll tell you what, because you're not matching, it's terrifying.
Well, you're in black as normal. You're as scary as the night.
Oh, come on, don't say that unless you mean it.
Oh, I mean it.
Oh.
Oh. Okay, here we go.
okay.
Hello, Mr.
Excuse us?
Spellmaker.
Excuse us.
I am Avenanja.
And I am a Prince Valamor, the darkest that there has ever been, and the darkest there will ever be.
You have called us forth tonight for a particular spell.
Oh, awkward. We were trying to.
Did we do the wrong spell?
I think we read the wrong spell.
What?
Hold on.
What spell was it you were trying to?
You called the spell of summoning the most evil of spirits, and here we are.
Yes.
Oh, the pages stuck together.
Well, you don't look very scary.
No,
ghost.
Damn
it!
Ah,
Damn it!
who won the race yesterday?
Well, I mean, I watched the first three races. It was easy money, and then
No, it was Charlie Horse. Kapah!
Wow, Stu, are you okay?
I can't move.
Well, it's not so funny now, is it? Now, I might not have looked scary, but you look in an awful lot of pain.
Good luck with the rest of your night, you do.
See? Yeah! Oh, Matt, that was so fun. I loved getting a chance to play Ghost. That was a great call.
That's a quick 10 right there, baby.
Dude, when you're not working and having fun, it's fast, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, it's so fun playing with you because I know you're up for anything and you'll just go with it.
Yeah. And it was fun to jump into another energy or another character and get.
Oh yeah, you got to see them, right? Like you summon something. Yeah. I love the choice you made to like see them because something's got to happen. You know, it can't just like lie there flat.
Yeah. I like the spell building. I like that we were on the same book and going through lists, and I'm having fun with that.
So good. Like, oh, I got it on a shelf here. Okay, cool. We got that. What? How did you get into improv, my friend? What brought you in?
Well, it was a shout out. It was a psychological calling to be able to express myself through spontaneously.
Yeah.
So I was a real guarded, didn't share my opinions, never raised my hand. I was that guy, and
Wow.
that went through childhood, school, all the way up even into career, where I would tend to like hide out and not share opinions. And I just had a sense that improv would draw that out, and of course it does.
Yeah.
You have no choice but to,
You got to.
yeah.
Wow. So did you see an ad for a class, or did you look up,
I must have Googled it. I didn't
yeah.
have a buddy tell me or anything. I think I Googled it, and then next West Side Comedy came up. I was living in Venice at the time. And then after I saw a couple shows, that whole thought of the psychology, then when I saw some people up on stage, I'm like, I got to do that. Like, I don't know. I had no idea it would be such a painful journey getting there. But yeah, that sealed the deal. And then I was bit by the bug, and it just never stopped.
And do you think when you say painful journey, do you mean like the growing pains of it, or from what you saw and then going through times of like self-doubt or uncertainty, or like what do you mean when you say there was that painful part of it?
The growing pains were like not knowing how to improv, and then having
Yeah.
to do it in front of always a peer group, and then the psychological, the inner critic,
Yeah.
huge ego and a huge judge.
Yeah.
And so it was really, and I got on two teams pretty early, and I didn't know what I was doing, and it was really stressful. I was really, really anxious.
Yeah.
And I would go and do my performances, and it was this outer body stress experience, and not really knowing how to improvise yet. It really wasn't in my body, or at least portions of it. So, oftentimes I would get stuck and be on stage and just blank out. And so those are the things that would keep me up at night. And it was like year 4 for me, Jay, where things started to click in a little bit, where like, being able to yes and not get into conflict, and not get stuck, and then be able to just move forward, is when things started to open up for me.
And now you're doing a lot of teaching and working. Did you ever think that was going to be something that you would want to do, is to like teach it, or did it come to you later on when you were performing more, or like how did you decide this is something I want to do?
Well, I was on the West Side, and I'd gone through West Side Comedy's program, and they did not have a drop-in back then. And then I went to Second City, and I was commuting up to Second City for their drop-in, and it was a brutal commute, as you know. So
You're probably going with traffic both ways.
I was insane. Like Wednesday and Sunday, I would just whatever it took.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Such a hopeless improviser. So I hired Rich Baker, and I started a drop-in class on the West Side, and I just hung the shingle. And then a year after Rich and a couple other people were coaching it, I took over, and that was a scary step. Talk about, I'm like, I can't believe. And then that felt pretty natural and good, the coaching side of it. So I was comfortable there.
Oh, that's good. And don't you feel that like as a coach, you have learned so much more? I feel like as a coach or teacher, I learned so much doing more so than at times like being a student, because you're learning from so many different people.
Yes, it is. It is a different animal. And sometimes I discount what I've learned. Like it's not tangible for me to go, but yeah, the analysis, and when you get to see what work and what doesn't work, it does impact, your own work. When you say, oh, now I see why it's important to make a bold choice,
Yeah.
to do this, and stay committed, like all sorts of things, I think end up imprinting the coach, hopefully in their own improv.
I think it does. I mean, I think no matter, at least my experience is that I've always been able to take things from a coach and apply it and put it in my tool belt. Like some coaches I think you connect with, or teachers you just connect with more because of either how it's not even at times what they're saying, but maybe how they're saying it, or you're just in a space where you're ready to learn or open up for that information. But I do think like you can always take something from someone who's coaching you or teaching you.
Yeah, absolutely. The classes I've been doing lately, smaller groups, and been playing with them. It's a real blessing to have a class where, we're doing like a soap opera circle with all the actors and also being able to play at the end of class. I'm like, that was so much fun. Like, this is awesome.
And I think they dig it because when I was like going to classes more full time and training, the thought of like playing with my teacher was thrilling, and I thought, well, that you never would get to play with a teacher, like, and you'd go and watch them do shows and things like that. But the thought of playing with them, I think, is very it helps, and it helps hold us accountable as teachers.
Absolutely. And Jay, it's one of the reasons Breeze had mentioned this, and I'd got to get right onto this, because I find myself in the coaching situation where, so I'm not on a team currently. And so getting reps, it's only in classes. And then when I'm coaching, usually I have more experience, nothing wrong with that. But so to be able to have this, that's why I was telling you how grateful I was to have a chance to be able to play with you, because I don't get a chance to play with the likes of you or a coach to me often at all. So really happy.
Well, man, it's so fun playing with you, and like, yeah, I'm glad you reached out because I was like, absolutely, like,
shout out to the Follow the Follower class I took with you.
Remember that?
We did that. We dressed all in black. We did a 45-minute show, and there were a few aces in the audience that said it was the best improv show they'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And talk about no stress as a performer. There's just nothing to do, so it's just nothing but fun.
Yeah, it was that, it's called, I think that style is kind of known by many different titles and different ways of being taught. And that was, for me, it was this, I think we called it the journey. And it was like, all right, you're going to go on this big group exploration. And there weren't really like scenes that you would think of in a regular improv show. There were just moments that would happen, but it was this watching a group of people strive and attain the same goal, which to me is always going to be real powerful. Yeah, and there were a lot of people that were really complimentary, but the show was great. Like, it was one of those shows that you're like, even if you didn't understand, it was engaging, and you're like, I just can't stop watching it. It was real good. I was really proud of that show. It was such a good experience for me too.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was so awesome for the whole group. We would do those. We had 3-hour classes with you, and we would do 45 to 50-minute.
Oh yeah.
You would just leave, and you'd go, "You guys just keep going."
Oh, I wanted it. Yeah, and it was like, don't. The objective here isn't to try to do what the teacher wants, because there is no objective. So explore this thing, see what you all can do, and when you're in a state of relaxed play, you start doing like patterns easier, things, you start repeating things more naturally. You get together and everyone's going one direction, and somebody adds a little bit and somebody else adds a little bit. I mean, to me, it's some of the most pure improv right there.
I aspire still to this day. I'll probably die trying, but Follow the Follower, I had no stress. And typically as an actor, I'm tend to go on the more anxious. So I hold a lot of stress. Even coming into this, I'm like, okay. And I have much better coping mechanisms now with, reading and dealing with my body and my stress. So I've come way down, but I was super anxious to begin with. So even the progress I've made, I'm probably high still.
You still feel more anxious than other folks.
I must.
Yeah.
I hope they don't feel like I do. But the Follow the Follower, there's zero stress. Yeah. Every time I do that exercise or during that show, I mean, I had not a worry in the world. And I said, God, I hope someday I can do 2-person scene work and feel like this.
Oh,
and
you can. I mean, because there are people out there who that's the way they were trained, and it's a lot of like an older. I feel like there's an older generation that really ascribed to that, and that's a Viola Spolin thing, which is follow the follower, and then you just have nerds like us who go, what if we expand that and try and do it as a group thing, and let's give it a shot, and it leads to some really cool stuff. But I definitely think there are opportunities to do that. And even now doing it through Zoom, I think there are opportunities. And so it would be interesting when we get back to a point of being on a stage to take a chance and try those things and say, let's try it, do a 2-person thing where it's this exploration. My buddy Bill Cott and I have been doing a 2-man show for 25, 26 years now. And we do a lot of those things in our show where we'll, in the middle of a scene, just do these transformations and just like, all right, let's explore this thing. And they're not linear scene work at times. It's just more of a movement, fluid piece. And it's yielded some really good stuff because you're in a constant state of being present and discovering. And that's the key, what we're trying to do, right? Is just being present, make discoveries.
I bet. Are you guys doing 2-man on Zoom? Have you been doing
We have been doing we've done a couple of these 10-minute things. We have also Bill's been doing a lot of stuff with like using his voice for causes like Black Lives Matter, and he's really been getting into and it's great to see focusing more of his voice on like social justice right now. But he and I will always continue to do this kind of stuff, and what I'll do is I'll message him and say, let's do one of these like full on kind of follow the follower things and see what happens.
Yeah, great. I bet he'd love the break and love to do it. And give me a heads up.
Yeah.
I get your newsletter. And hopefully you've got everything in there. I saw your YouTube channel that had these 10-minute guys. So you had cool that you got them up there.
Yeah, and I started putting, Landon and I did an improv cast, one of our podcasts we recorded last night, and we did a Zoom thing. So I'm going to be putting some of those up on the website as well, where we talk to improvisers about how they got into improv, and it's more of a conversational podcast. But yeah, I've got YouTube/Today Improv. I'm putting all of these 10-minute ones up. I'm putting that up. I do a debate show called the Court of Public Opinion, where I bring 2 improvisers together. And I have them debate a topic that nobody could win, like cake versus pie, and then the audience votes. It's a real fun moment to watch improvisers some really get into character, which is really fun to see. Like Landon was on it, Landon Kirksey was on it with Jillian, and he went full Southern lawyer, and it was hilarious. And he won, but she won the actual debate. Like he didn't win any point in the debate, but the audience just voted for him, which was like super fun and silly. So yeah, I'm putting a lot of stuff up, a lot of improv stuff and resources up on my YouTube channel.
Sweet. Love it.
Well, you're the best, Matt. Thank you so much
Jay,
for being a part of this. I can't wait to play with you again, my friend. It's been an honor.
Likewise, man. Thanks, Jay.
All right, see you, Matthew.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.